I'm here with Brian Jones today. We're in Los Angeles, in the western part of the San Fernando Valley, just outside of Woodland Hills. I've known Brian for quite a while now. I met him when he was 15 years old. He was in high school and he ended up playing in a band that I was working with. And can you tell him how you met those guys?
Yeah, me and the singer were in the All Virginia Jazz Ensemble together, and that's how we met. And I jammed with him and our friend Brendan shortly after that, and just hit it off very quickly.
I remember at that stage in time, they thought you were very young.
I was.
And how old were they?
They were both like ending high school or going into college.
Yeah,
I was
and that was Richard Wynn and Brendan.
Yes, and I was 15 at the time.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Now, you had a really good teacher, I'm thinking. Maybe Scott?
His name was Wayne.
Oh, excuse me.
That's okay, Wayne Estes. He was great. Yeah.
And everything, keyboards, bass, guitar?
Yeah, he made me learn a little bit of everything.
Well, it surely paid off. We know Brian as, the bass player with Gwen Stefani, but also you are the featured performer now with the band we know as Vampire Weekend. And you guys do pretty good numbers, I mean, I have to say, and you guys have a great reputation. Can you talk a little bit about that and the unusual meeting that you had, maybe, as I recall?
Yeah, it was, I had just gotten off of like a couple years of touring with some other bands. Like I was doing a lot of stuff with Gwen, I was doing a lot of stuff with this band Moonalice, who I'm really good friends with. And I had a year ahead of me where I didn't really know what was going to happen. And there was a bass I was looking for that I really wanted. And Brendan and his friend Todd told me, he's like, oh, my buddy has one of those at his shop. And I, went and checked it out. And then I ended up talking to the guy who owns the shop. And he was like, oh, yeah, do you play guitar at all, too? Like, we kind of hit it off a little bit. We were talking. He's like, oh, do you play guitar at all? I was like, yeah, I play a little guitar. He's like, would you be interested in playing like in a Vampire Weekend type band? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like that sounds kind of interesting. And then a couple weeks later, or whatever, I kind of get a call, and they're like, hey, do you want to audition for this thing? I was like, yeah, sure. So I met with the singer like once or twice, and then the rest is
boom.
We kind of just hit it off immediately, and now I've been with them for like 2.5 years now.
Yeah, that's a great gig. Now, I'm sure the tough part is the uncertainty of not knowing when you guys are going back out, because you're thinking like, oh, this is a great gig.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's been great while it's lasted, but
And how are the guys in the band doing, and how are you guys doing? Anxious to get back out and play?
I think everybody is, getting a little. Everyone's, kept really busy. I think.
Yeah.
Everyone has their little projects they're trying to work through at this point in time. But I think the big thing that everyone's looking forward to is getting back and playing shows, because that who knows when that'll happen again. So,
for sure.
I think people are hopeful for 2022, but it's just hard to say at this point. So.
Well, a lot of us were in the same boat. I think last year I had Lock-In and Bottle Rocks and some really cool gigs with some really cool people, and now it's just sort of we're all on standby.
Right.
Hey, quickly, a lot of people may or may not know this. The name Brian Jones. When did you find out that there was another Brian Jones that played in the band known as the Rolling Stones?
I found out after I started playing music. When I was I think it was at Guitar Center, and that first time someone, rang me up and was like, hey, you got a famous name or whatever. I didn't know. I was probably, 7th grade, 8th grade. I had no idea. But then I'd say consequently, every single time I went to Guitar Center in Virginia, where I'm from, I think every single time someone said something, it kind of became a running joke in my life that the cashiers at Guitar Center or music stores would teach me that there was somebody in the Rolling Stones named Brian Jones, and I knew it. I mean, it just became really annoying. But yeah, that's when I made that that link.
Well, he was one of the coolest guys in the band, in my opinion, and a bit of a star. And he played a lot of instruments. I think he played harpsichord, recorder, Ruby Tuesday, a bunch of cool stuff. And somebody told me one time that Brian Jones actually picked up the alto sax one morning, and by the end of the day, he was playing it. So he was a gifted guy, but that's another subject. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much some of the questions I had, other than I don't think your folks were expecting you to end up at USC.
I think they were apprehensive to let me go at first, just because it's so far away.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's a lot of mystery. The program I was in was new and was sort of untested at the time, but, it was definitely a risk, and it was expensive. All these things.
All that stuff.
All these things came together, but I just really wanted to do it. So I, begged and pleaded, and I was able to go. It ended up being the right decision. I don't think anyone, regrets that.
Well, we have a mutual friend in Roger McNamee, and I remember when I told him that you were going to be going to USC, and sort of mentioned all the encumbrances that you mentioned. He was like, "We'll figure it out. He'll get through it."
Yeah, he definitely helped me out for
Oh,
sure in a major way.
Yeah, he's just really great with all of that.
Oh, of course.
Well, anyway, I guess you were thinking more like VCU or UVA.
Yeah, I had gotten some money to go to Howard in DC.
Yeah, great school.
But I've had kind of like a bad interview experience there, and I think I was thinking about maybe going to George Mason or someplace local,
Right.
VCU maybe. But I once I got into USC, I kind of knew that's where I was going to end up.
Well, it's a powerful school.
Oh yeah. LA, just coming to LA was just kind of seemed unheard of at the time, but I'm so glad I finally came out here.
Yeah, but as I recall, we ended up with Dave Way. Mm-hmm. And your dad was out here. I'm trying to think, were you like a junior in high school?
I think I was 16 or 17, yeah.
And did you get a feel for it then, or was it just too overwhelming? It's so huge.
Yeah, I mean, we came out to the NAMM show once or twice, and I got to see a little bit of LA through that, and check some stuff out. But nothing ever too crazy. When I first started visiting, the campus and all that stuff, I was like, I gotta figure out a way to make it out here.
Yeah,
and I did.
It's a certain thing, and there's a lot of us that really have found their kind of groove in LA. Mm-hmm. And luckily for me, I get to go to the Bay Area and do a lot of really cool stuff with some cool musicians. But like Randy Newman says, I love LA. Anyway, is there anything else we should cover about your background? Anybody you want to mention?
No.
Special thanks.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you?
Sure. And just briefly, I mean, your parents have been, you have a really cool family. Now, as you've told me before, and correct me if I'm wrong, your dad's kind of a music guy out of your two parents.
Yeah, for sure.
Who did you listen to? Earth, Wind & Fire?
Earth, Wind & Fire, a lot of Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, Stevie Wonder. My dad turned me on to a bunch of cool, stuff when I was growing up, so that was very thankful for that. But I also had my own, music taste. I figured I was very into pop music and just, the top 40 stuff from a very early age, for better or for worse. So I was, really into the NSYNCs and the Britney Spearses and all that stuff.
Oh, they make some great records.
Still listen to it all the time.
No, I think a lot of us is like, yeah, man, I dig Coltrane, and it is Black History Month. I mean, Coltrane, Cannonball, Sonny Rollins, Art Blakey, the great band leader, trumpet man, Miles Davis. I mean, it was such an eye-opener for me, but at the same time, I was listening to pop music big time.
Yeah, exactly.
Steely Dan was kind of jazzy, but there's a lot of music that I really enjoyed that was just basic pop.
Yeah, there's so much merit to it, and I think people write it off.
Oh, I think so. If it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
And I remember going to see Springsteen, and everybody was like, "Oh, Bruce, he's doing the cover Time, he's the best." And I went down to the Hampton Coliseum. The sound was not great, but he couldn't tune his Telecaster. And back then, you didn't have tuners or techs. And he'd go, and it was pretty amazing, actually. Yeah. Real eye-opener, mostly the connection that he had with the audience. And the same, oh gosh, we have Blueshound, Howlin' Wolf. The same with the Dead. I saw them at American University. And somebody said, "When did you fall in love with the Grateful Dead?" I said, I really did, and I really liked the audience. I thought the audience was amazing. We saw them down at American University with maybe 5,000 people. I didn't know any of the songs, except maybe they did Good Lovin' or something like that, which I knew through the Young Rascals. But I just remember the connection with their audience was so strong that I thought, man, maybe someday I can play for these people. And sure enough.
Lo and behold,
Lo and behold, it worked out,
I mean, that reminds me of the time I saw, my whole family went and saw No Doubt at Nissan Pavilion at the time, the outdoor venue.
Sure, Manassas over there.
Yeah, not too long after that, 10 years later, I was playing there with her. So.
Did you visualize yourself saying that'd be a great gig to have?
I didn't. I was just, I was just having a good time. But I didn't think that was possible at the time. I still don't feel like that's, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a crazy career to do.
It's weird how stuff works like that.
Yeah.
Like my saying, yeah, what a great audience. I'd love to play, and bang, next thing you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that covers a lot of ground. My dog is visiting the production people. We've got Brendan McCusker here today, and we've got Eric on the camera, so he's visiting with them right now. Do you want to play a little music?
Sure.
Jam out a little bit?
Yeah.
What was that thing you were playing earlier?
Let me hold on a second.
Tell us about that bass. That's a 5-string Fender Jazz.
5-string Fender, 2009.
And it sounds great through that little lamp peg amp.
Yep.
And single speaker, you're just killing it.
These are my tools.
Yeah, man. And what am I playing through? Some really nice DW. I think they call this wormwood, which would be, what's that drink that really, absinthe.
What?
It's a wormwood kit.
Wait, how is it related to absinthe?
I think absinthe is made out of the toxic part of wormwood, rather than saying, yeah.
Okay.
And if you do happen to have some, go slow. Otherwise, you'll fall off your amp. Okay, I think that's about it for us right now.
Wonderful.
I'd like to thank everybody. Oh yeah, like I said, this is a DW kit. It's beautiful. I've got a nice brass snare drum, and I've got some wonderful Sabian cymbals. These are signature Jack DeJohnette.
Ooh.
And you can sound a little bit like Jack, but it's really hard to play like him.
Sure.
Anyway, so long from Tarzana. I always jokingly say the home of roots and reggae music in the West Valley. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, now.
Home of the blues.
All right. Yeah.
Home of the Whopper.
Hey everybody, Chloe here. You may know me from the T Sisters, or possibly from Full Moonalice, or maybe from the Doobie Decibel System. And I'm gonna play you some songs from here in my living room in Oakland, California. It's a beautiful day, and yeah, I'm excited to share some songs. I'm trying to do a totally new set from the last week I did, or the last segment I did. So some of these songs are a little less familiar, so that's my disclaimer. But I'll start off with a classic folk tune from Bob Dylan. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? And how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head, pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? And how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Good old Bob Dylan. Now here's a song that I sing with the Doobie Decibel System. Love this song. Beautiful song by Emmylou Harris that she wrote, I believe, after the death of Graham Parsons. This is Boulder to Birmingham. I don't wanna hear a love song. I ain't on this airplane just to fly, and I know there's life below me, and all that you can show me is a prairie and the sky. Beautiful and tragic. Lovely song. Boulder to Birmingham. Not sure the relevance of those particular cities. I think Roger joked once that he thought maybe she just liked the sound of them. Maybe he wasn't even joking. He was just speculating that it could have been really any two cities, but maybe there's some significance there. Will we ever know? Possibly. I'm gonna do an original song now. This one's I wrote this song for a dear friend that passed away at the end of 2019. It was very, very sad, but also expected. We knew it was coming, and in some ways, I mean, this would have been a really hard time to have somebody who's at the end of their life. We got to spend a lot of time with her and really be present with her in her final months. And this song is about grappling with, you know, when you know somebody's on their way out, and how do you anticipate the goodbye? How do you make the most out of the time that you have with that person? This is called These Goodbyes, and it's going to be on the new T Sisters album, which will be coming out in the summer. Wet my whistle first. Let me start that over again. Whoop. We are writing stories of our lives. The end of every story, someone dies. No exceptions. No one takes a prize. Still I can't get used to these goodbyes. But there's never enough time to say how we don't have that long. So I look into your clear blue eyes and conjure up this song. Now and any day now, you could be gone. Now and any day now, you could be gone. It's a real sad one for you. Got another sad one coming up. This is a song I wrote a long time ago, and yeah, it was kind of a tough pairing, tough relationship. The kind that makes you ask, why am I still here? But glad to say I figured that whole thing out. And I'm happily engaged and with baby on the way. So taking care of business this quarantine, you know, big life stuff, breeding, procreating, that kind of thing. But this song is works with some fruit metaphors. I'm really looking forward to the spring and the summer with the blooming flowers and the ripening fruit. This one's called Stone Fruit. I'm just gonna use my fingers to play it. Well, the summer was warm and dry. Sorry. That was a slip right there. We sat, we didn't chat. Well, the summer was warm and dry. We sat in the shade of a fruit tree, just me and the flies, crying. You'd hurt me again without even trying. But I don't know why I still love you. I don't know why I'm still here. When your heart is as hard as that part of a stone fruit, why'd I pick you? So I went out and bought an old second-hand clock and some geodes and crystals that I keep in my sock drawer, but time still hasn't told me, and the rocks in my drawer haven't helped me to see. Well, I don't know why I still love you. I don't know why I'm still here. When your heart is as hard as that part of a stone fruit, why'd I pick you? Has anything grown in the pit of your heart? Just let it be known when you're ready to start. Well, your skin feels as warm as a peach in September, but you were cold and hard in July. I remember the grass had just faded to brown. I needed you, but you weren't around. And I don't know why I still love you. I don't know why I'm still here. When your heart is hard as that part of a stone fruit, why'd I pick you? Why'd I pick you? Well, picked someone else ultimately, and it worked out pretty well. It's a little backstory for you. This is a good one. Well, this one's a Randy Newman song that I became familiar with through the Bonnie Raitt version. As is true of many great songs, Bonnie Raitt is one of my favorites and grew up listening to a lot of Bonnie, and have in recent years had the pleasure of actually meeting her, and she's a very cool, awesome person and just still kicking ass, taking names, and an inspiration all around. I think this one's just called Guilty. Yes, baby, I've been drinking. Shouldn't come around here no more. When I found myself in trouble and I had no place else to go. Got some whiskey from a barman. Got some cocaine from a friend. And my head keep on moving till I was back in your arms again. You know how it is with me, baby. No, I just can't stand myself. Takes a whole lot of medicine to pretend I'm somebody else. I don't play a lot of blues, as you might be able to tell, but that song's just too good to not play, so there you have it. Speaking of guilty, here's a song of mine called Not Guilty. And this song's written from the perspective of somebody who, well, they're probably guilty, actually, and they're just not being accountable to their actions. And they have the privilege and they just get away with things. And we see that a lot. In fact, we are in the midst of this impeachment trial, and it's, you know, it's unlikely that anything will come of it, but, you know, bad people just getting away with bad stuff. That's what this song's about. Yep. Some people you just really want to see locked up, held accountable to their actions. We'll see. On a lighter note, I'm really excited about springtime, which I feel like is coming right up. It's when my baby's coming, and I just bought a bunch of flowers today, so I'm just excited for birth and bloom and all that stuff. That is apropos of this song. capo on here. I haven't done this song much with the capo on, or even played it much on the guitar, but it's one of the earlier songs I wrote. It's called Moonalice. It really should be called Kindred Lines, which ended up being the name of the album that it was on, the T Sisters album. But yeah, it's about family. It's about how it doesn't even necessarily need to be family, but you know, people with whom you're just so close that when they're experiencing hardship, you feel it as well. This deep empathy that we have for those we love. Well, the seed I planted long ago has gradually grown into a tree that I can... See, I told you I hadn't done it much. Well, the seed I planted long ago has gradually grown into a tree that I can no longer bear. Is this how this goes? Oh, I'm playing the wrong song. That is a different song of mine, but this is this song. I built a house above the sorrows of my kin. I feel the walls, but the roof lets all the rain in. I count those roots as they grow through the cracks. I stomp them down, down, but they keep growing back. Oh, this blood is thicker than molasses. These kindred lines find their way back to the core. We share our burdens and rise above the ashes. Besides, I can't ignore their troubles at my door. Alright, I think I got it now. My mama's tears were steady falling 9 months straight. I closed my eyes, but my love for her was just too great. My papa faltered, he said, "Damn, it's getting late." It happened all too fast, but life just doesn't wait. Oh, this blood is thicker than molasses. These kindred lines find their way back to the core. We share our burdens and rise above the ashes. Besides, I can't ignore their troubles at my door. My sister said I will never love again. I told her, darling, you shouldn't trust those handsome men. I turned away just to let my sister pine. And as I did, her pain turned into mine. Oh, this blood is thicker than molasses. These kindred got there with that one. But you get it. You know the feeling. Well, I think I have time for one more song. And this is a song that is a song I wrote for T Sisters originally, but then we ended up playing it with Full Moonalice and recording it on the Full Moonalice album. And you'll notice that it's missing a few things. You know, it's kind of a rock and country song, but I'm going to do my best to represent it pared down. It's called Love Me Today. It's kind of an ultimatum song. Again, you know, kind of that one foot out the door type situation. If you're in a situation like that, you can't say this to friends who are in this type of situation, but you know, you can say it sort of vaguely to basically I'm talking to my camera right now, so. But yeah, usually there's something better out there. Well, it's only a matter of time before you lose me, but you can love me today. You love me and I'm still at the table, but I've already paid. But my glass is half full, one foot's in the door, the other one's walking away. Yeah, it's just a matter of time before you lose me, but you can love me today. Well, it's only a matter of time before you lose me, but you can love me today. Like a pair of socks that your grandma bought for your 21st birthday. Said I left it right here, right next to my beer, and the doggy is wagging his tail. Yeah, it's just a matter of time before you lose me, but you can love me today. If you love me right the first time, I wouldn't be inclined to run, 'cause I love your kissing, but there's something missing, and I'm this close to done. But I'm here today to love you, and we're still having fun. And if you play it right tonight, baby, tomorrow might never come. Here's where Barry would take a solo. And Jason. Well, it's only a matter of time before you lose me, so come on, one day. What you'll be saying then, I remember when no those were the days. You'll be around reminiscing about my kiss and saying, how did I let her get away? Yeah, it's just a matter of time before you lose me, but you can love me today. so much for listening. I'm Chloe, and I will see you the next Doobie Decibel Tuesday stream or for another solo performance, I think, in a month.